Crime has become an inescapable issue in Queensland, whether you've been a victim or fear becoming one. The LNP has rushed through its key election pledge to get tough on offenders by introducing adult time for adult crime legislation.
It's an absolute pleasure to speak in support of the Making Queensland Safer legislation, a commitment the LNP took to the people of Queensland to make Queenslanders safe.
The controversial penalties apply to 13 serious offences, but not arson, rape or attempted murder, a gap highlighted by the stabbing of an Ipswich shopping centre worker last month.
There will be more changes to the Youth Justice Act, many more.
The government's conceded the new laws will put pressure on the prison system. More than 40 children are currently being held in the state's watch houses.
The detention centres are doing the opposite of what they're supposed to do, and they're making kids into better criminals rather than rehabilitating them.
The LNP's promised to set up 9 regional reset camps, as well as a program to rehabilitate young offenders when they leave detention. A pledge to break the crime cycle, putting a time bomb under the first-term government.
The state of the health system affects every single one of us. And it has major challenges, including workforce shortages and rising chronic disease. As part of its prescription, the LNP promised real-time data about hospitals within its first 100 days. On Sunday, as North Queensland flooded, it met that pledge.
It's a terrific day. It's an exciting day.
So, how can Queenslanders use the info? Go to the Queensland Health website and click on the link. Type in a location, choose a service, and the median waiting time is shown, so patients can choose where and when to go, with the caution they should call an ambulance for an emergency. The website notes waiting times will vary, depending on the severity of the condition.
Whatever is published is only data. It needs context and it needs interpretation.
Politically, the stakes are high. Publishing data about health services is arguably the easy part. The Premier has also repeatedly promised to reduce ambulance ramping and surgical waiting lists.
Housing is a national crisis felt deeply in Queensland. To give first home buyers a leg up, stamp duty on new builds is set to be abolished and restrictions scrapped on renting out a room in the first year of purchase. A ministerial task force has been set up with big plans, among them to deliver 1 million properties in the next 20 years for Queensland's exploding population. Almost 50,000 will be affordable homes, but property experts say constraints on labour and materials present challenges for future builds.
It's an impossible thing to fulfil. Realistically, out on the ground, those are numbers that are just being told to the general public. We've got to be more realistic.
Some paperwork has begun on unlocking charity-owned and faith-based land for affordable housing.
We're always looking for sites that are strategically located to public transport, jobs, work and training. And a lot of the sites that the churches and charity groups owned are actually located in close proximity to those things.
Time is going to tell you've got to get through and get on board the local authorities with that, and then the local residents.
The ambitious housing plan is being rolled out in a climate where a Brisbane house costs more than $1 million during a cost of living crisis where it's never been harder to save.
So what about your bills and day-to-day expenses? To ease commuter costs, the LNP vowed to make 50-cent public transport fares permanent in their first 100 days. It was a temporary measure, but now the LNP has locked it in for good.
It's fabulous. I think it's a great idea and be very help towards the cost of living.
Takes more cars off the road, makes it easier for getting around.
The LNP also pledged to address rising insurance premiums by tackling crime.
And if you get on top of youth crime, well, that'll put downward pressure on insurance.
In a pre-election move, the former Labor government slashed vehicle rego costs by 20%, but it was for just 1 year. That discount will soon end. So too will the $1,000 electricity bill rebate given to every household. Pensioners, concession card holders and seniors will still get some relief though, with a $372 discount.
Despite this being one of the key issues that David Crisafulli said he would address, we've heard nothing.
We haven't really seen much on cost of living at all. That was probably a bigger issue even than the law and order issue during the state election campaign.
And pressure is on the Premier to deliver on those big issues, not just in the first 100 days, but well beyond.